Welcome to Health Pod, your self-development hub
on mental health, psychology, and spirituality.
What defines success?
Success is a very controversial word.
You need to embrace pain and love and success because it's on the same spectrum.
Success is an endpoint of an aggressive competition.
We measure success on an action-based scale.
Yeah, very male.
We are born with a big ego.
We need the external sources
To validate us.
to validate us.
As long as we're in these human bodies, we would always have the ego as part of ourselves.
Controlling your ego, it's controlling your feelings. And training to control your feelings helps you balance your ego.
The only person that you need to compete is with the person that you were yesterday.
Yourself.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode here on HealthPod. I'm here today with Giannos Tran, a marketeer, and for those of you that have seen this public figure before, he's one of the major hosts on Netcast Zone podcast. Today we'll be speaking about success and the weight of our ego. Let's tune in today's episode.
So tell us.
Who is Johnny?
Okay, sometimes when I think of myself, what am I, what I do, I think at the moment, I would say I'm a content creator and I can help businesses grow their brand online through content. So you can say I'm a marketing guy.
How did the podcast come about? Because I know you do a podcast, which we came on. So how does that interlink? Because that's more recent.
Yeah, we started in 2019. The evolution of our channel started by having discussions and then uploading them online. I guess we were the pioneers of podcasting in Cyprus. And through the years, we managed to bring other people to the content they love. Because what we saw is that we couldn't grow our channel through Giannos only. Like we said at the beginning, Cyprus is a very small market. So if you want to grow, you need to reach to the masses, to a wider audience. So we brought in more people. We created series. We expanded our genres, aside sports. So we reached up to a point in 2023 where we have a huge community. The algorithms love us. That's why when we upload a video, it gets a lot of views and stuff. But at the end of the day, content matters. And here we are today looking forward to another milestone of becoming a channel that doesn't do just podcasts.
What's the vision?
Documentaries, series maybe. But at the end of the day, it's all about budgeting.
You've recently been abroad as well.
Yeah, we've traveled with Luis Patzalidis' team. We went to Canada.
Okay.
Actually, we went to Montreal, Quebec.
Louis is one of our comedians over
Yeah,
here.
he's number one,
Yeah.
I would say. And I've asked him, how does it sound going together in Canada and do a documentary for the Greek and the Cypriot community in Montreal, and then plug your show in Toronto? And he was quite excited. And at the same time, when he left from Canada, we went to New York to do another 7 stories of Cypriots that live abroad and pursue their dream. Our goal was to showcase to our fellow Cypriots here in our small, beautiful island that there are Cypriots who live abroad in very harsh and competitive environments, and they manage to succeed. So here's a point where you can reference and get inspiration and try to achieve something on your own. And like in an ecosphere, when you like project a lot of stories of inspiration and success of people you have a connection with, Cypriots,
Yep.
we believe that it will help make our society and country better.
Yeah, more open-minded, to be able to learn more and grow and listen to these stories. My question is, how did you pick these people? You say success. What defines success?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Okay, success is a very controversial word. I mean, what does success mean? So I came to the conclusion of the following. Success is what others believe of you and perceive as success. For you, there's not such a word as success because it's an infinite game. So success is a point in time where you are awarded with something. I don't know, money,
Fame,
recognition,
Goals.
even, I don't know, an Oscar or an Emmy, whatever. But it's a point in time, a specific point in time that ends, has an ending. What about the day after your, I don't know, your...
a singing competition that you might do. Yeah, you've won. Okay.
Are you still successful? So for me, success, it's a vague, an uncatchable destination. And I'll quote the words of an actor, McConaughey. Am I pronouncing his name?
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. And he said once in was it an Oscar? I don't know. I don't remember. Where he said that he was chasing a man and that man was always 10 years ahead. And then he came to a point where he realized that the man he was chasing was him in 10 years. So for me, success is something that it's a projection to others. For you, success, it's an ongoing game where you try to be happy, to feel like you are where you want to be. And it's a process of keep evolving because there's an end. I mean, one day we all gonna pass away. So what does that mean? So
How much have we enjoyed the process?
So the thing is that when it comes to success, the way at least I perceive it, which is the constellation of also other philosophers or think tanks within the domain of success, because as you said, is a never-ending game. Matthew McConaughey was basically trying to run after his future self. Success is a matter of enjoying the process, and while you are in this process,
doing the stuff you love,
and you need to embrace pain and love and success, because it's on the same spectrum. So let's assume that we're talking about the spectrum of love. You have pain and you also have success. So you need to enjoy this process to feel content. And the only person that you need to compete is with the person that you were yesterday.
yourself.
And what we see in many people is that as soon as they reach their goal, they collapse. They're like, okay, what's next? What am I going to do next? And in a way, we should aim to reach a goal, but also think, okay, what am I going to do next, so that you keep going? Because if you don't have dopamine being secreted in your bloodstream, in your brain, then the moment that you reach your goal, you then fall into depression because you don't have a reason to strive for something bigger than you.
So I have a quote on that. Actually, it's not mine. Feel like a winner, act like a loser. So
Feel like a winner,
act like a loser.
act like a loser.
Yeah, because it keeps you humble enough to try to become better.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to be self-aware, and you need to accredit yourself with rewards, emotional rewards. rewards, and but at the same time, there's still the day after tomorrow, where you need to keep going and doing new stuff that will keep your dopamine levels at a high, point, up until you set up for the sunset and you escape from the world. My goal is to reach up to a point where I will be financially okay just to survive with the means of today, and then discover my inner self through, I don't know, book reading, traveling, food tasting with my wife. Because we need to be humble enough to understand that we as entities have a beginning and we have an end, at least a process where we can understand and can describe. So biologically, you will come up to a point where you cannot do stuff that you did when you have the power and the energy. So when you are when you reach up to a point where you understand that your physical attributes cannot help you, then you need to turn to your inner mental, spiritual power.
Don't you think that's
forces.
a process, though, throughout life, not just at a specific point in life?
Yeah, and associate that with wisdom. You need to be aware of that in order for you to start thinking like that. But coming in 2023, 24, and to conclude success, I'll ask you a question. Name me a successful person, You're going to say Steve Jobs, right? You're going to say Ronaldo. You're going to say Messi. You're going to say Bill Gates, Conor McGregor, Marcos Baghdadis, Milan Dragovic. But the set of rules you place in your critical thinking into pointing out the successful people are certain. Fame, money, gold medal. There's not a single person that will name a successful Miss Marulla. Nobody knows Miss Marulla. You're not going to name Mr. Yorgos, who owns a butcher shop, successful, because you don't know that he's successful. You say that he's happy. And most of the times I hear the debate, success means happiness. And I disagree, because success, it's a word that, as I said at the beginning, it's a projection to others and what you believe is success. So for you, success is happiness, but you are the only one who will reward yourself. And for the others, it's the things we said: fame, money, recognition.
Which is a lot of what society has taught us to believe, what success is.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense, because success is an endpoint of an aggressive competition, whatever that is, business, sports. But why can't we say, I'm a successful father?
Yes.
You cannot measure it. There's not a scale of successful fatherhood. You cannot say, I'm a successful wife. How are you going to measure that? So for me, success is just a metric. For other people, and for ourselves, success is it's vague. It doesn't exist.
It's amazing that what you just said right now made me think that we measure success on an action-based scale.
Yeah, very male.
It's a very male-orientated definition of what we define as success, because from one point of view, a man becomes a man through the things that he accomplishes, like
A man as a human, or
a man as a human, and I'm
male?
a male, and I'm gonna make a reference based on Greek mythology, like Hercules, what he has managed to accomplish, Achilles. But we know these two, let's say, but there were also other great warriors like Ajax or anyone else. Now, all these people have passed into history, like modern history. We have SpaceX, we have Baghdadis, different people, because they had the vision and they believed in that vision of their highest self, and they acted upon it on this with discipline. If you would tell me like 10 years ago that I would see rockets landing vertically, I would tell you this is impossible. But obviously, a man has conceived that and he has managed to achieve it. We define success, and it's a very male-orientated definition. Now, if you tell me though, in terms of Greek mythology, even women that are successful, they're action-based. They're in their masculine role, which is a woman can come with many gifts, which most of us, we are unable to conceive because we're uneducated. From where can I start? Like, from the fact that they're successful just by bringing us to life.
It is a success.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're successful by guiding a man to spiritual enlightenment. Because if you see all of these heroes in mythology, when they were needing guidance and protection, where were they referring to? To the feminine, to the female. Like, if you have a good relationship with your partner, there are a lot of points in which the first person that believed in you and told you, you know what, everything is gonna be okay. Take this, I don't know, armor, herb, helmet, and it's gonna protect you from evil. It's like this belief that women bestowed upon men to find the courage to come into their highest self, to be providers, to be protectors. But we usually neglect that when it comes to success. And it's a very good point to maybe touch upon on future episodes, because with the way we define success is very male orientated. Now, I would like to bring
And it's very capitalist.
It's very
Oriented.
capitalist, yeah.
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 It's a metric. It's a reward system. That's why you never see successful people like Miss Marula, our neighbor, Mr. Yorgos, our neighbor.
Yeah.
Because you don't have something to measure the success. They're invisible. So usually
Maybe we need to change the way that we
You
look
don't
at
have to.
things. Or
You know, what you said, I'm sorry, Helen, for interrupting.
okay.
So what you said right now, so you are a butcher, let's say, right? He had a vision. Maybe his dad was a butcher and he was at the slaughterhouse, and he had a vision, I'm gonna have my butcher shop in my neighborhood and people are gonna love me and I'm gonna bring the best meat. So this guy had a vision. He acted upon the vision. He believed on it. He's successful, in my opinion. Like, you are successful for me because you have a very successful podcast and you started in 2019, which we didn't really know about.
But you're measuring
was a
success based on
podcast.
numbers.
I'm measuring success myself as Stephanos based on the vision that a man or a woman has for themselves and acting upon that vision. And it's easier said than done, because acting upon a vision in modern day society that you have so many distractions, drugs, alcohol, smoking, porn, friends, anything that distracts you from your vision, you will not be successful if you don't take discipline of yourself.
Yeah.
And coming back on what we were speaking about, success and Greek mythology, like, does anyone know of the name of the guy that built the Trojan horse? No one. But it is mentioned, but none of us remembers it. But if it wasn't for that guy, if it wasn't, let's say, for our butcher, for our carpenter, for our barber, to act upon an idea, it's like you brought people in your podcast, right? You said that. I want to reach out to the community. So we're a small market. So you brought people in. You recognize certain skills. And you understood that it's not a one-man show. It's not my ego. I'm not going to do everything my own. I need my allies. So you brought people in.
That's a really interesting topic, the ego that we can talk about.
Ego.
I think it takes a lot to understand who you are as a person in order to be able to give the floor over and the space to other people to bring their own experiences in.
We are born with a big ego.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to have people think of themselves and work on their own interests. So I believe that if you practically balance your ego, you don't have to believe it, but at least practically do it, you will reach to a point where you will lower the levels of your ego. And it's a practical procedure. So like you said, we have a platform. Instead of taking all the attention, let's pass the attention to others. So that's a way of lowering your ego levels. When you are asked on how did you do stuff, you include your team. When you are asked if you are successful, you take the opportunity to define success in order to take away the attention on talking about yourself. So in a way, for me, people with levels of with high levels of ego, they will actually, it's a process where you harm yourself, because we live in a society where individualism counts, but at the same time you need to be part of a team. So if you want to grow a team, you need to think of other people's feelings, other people's goals and stuff. And the good thing about podcasting is that you provide people the attention they need through you. So you are you, but at the same time you promote others. And it's really interesting because that process gives you back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when we started doing our podcast, I was talking like 60% of the episode's time. And I had a guest. That was an egoistic act. Okay? It came from a good place though. I mean, you know, it's something that you learn through the process. And I was getting messages and DMs from people saying that, Gianno, shut up. You are hosting Stephanos. We want to hear what Stephanos has to say. We don't want to listen to what you're going to say. And that hurt my ego. What do you mean? You don't like me? I mean, I'm me. It's my show. I'm projecting myself. And it took me some time to understand that and realize that by lowering the percentage of talk within an episode to 10%, it actually gives you the results of the you know. Remember when I was saying that I wanted to project and promote
Goes
myself?
back to your goal on reaching out the wider
shines
audience.
back the light of attention to you without even
Having to try so hard.
having to talk
Put
for
yourself.
like more than 10%. That was my first understanding of how to control my ego. And it helped me a lot because I'm working with a team, and in order for a team to succeed and have the members of the team follow a certain path, you need to accredit them, you need to support them, you need to encourage them. So again, you need to lower your ego because everybody needs the reward of I was the one that did it.
Yeah, that validation.
Does it matter? I mean,
It
don't
ma-
people
yeah.
people appreciate you?
I think people don't know themselves. and we, as you said, we need the external sources
To validate us.
to validate us, unless you reach to a point that you build such a high self-esteem about yourself.
You know who you are.
And you start from the small things.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
exactly,
yes,
you from
yeah.
the small things.
I'll tell you something. When you order fries, okay, everybody loves fries. Here's the thing. And you order a portion of fries, and you have 4 family members. Are you going to take the first bite?
I would.
You would?
Yeah, they're there. They're like, you're like desperate to touch it.
Pig. Look, what I did, honestly, I love fries, okay? What I started doing when my kids were growing, I was like offering the first piece to them, the first piece out of the pizza. So this practical minor thing of letting others take the credit, in our case,
Yeah.
the chip, it helps you get to a point where not being selfish, it's your identity. It's not something that you are. It's something that you, like a sculpture where you
Train yourself.
train yourself and try to...
That's what I was going to say, even with the fry. It's not that you
want
you
to
are
fry.
unconsciously you're picking it first, but if you
Yeah,
you
that's
discipline yourself,
That's a survival thing.
yeah, to say
it's fat.
you first.
It's fat. You need fat. You need
Yes.
to eat it first.
Was there something in your life that made you come into this realization of people having big egos? Because ego is being built when we start associating ourselves with things, country, football team, religion,
Business. Political party.
So, was there a time in your life, because we know, but maybe our viewers do not know, that you're of mixed origin, right? You have a mixed cultural background, like in general, all Cypriots.
Where are
do.
you from?
I'm half Vietnamese.
Okay, and half Vietnamese, half Cypriot.
Yeah.
Okay.
50% Cypriot. 100% 50% Cypriot.
Did that play a role?
No, not at all. I grew up in a time where Cypriots were really inclusive with foreigners.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the 80s. Don't you remember? It was a time where the world was very different. We didn't have the things with illegal migration and stuff. Our economy right after 1974 was catching up. People had money. People, it was a good time to be alive. The 80s, with the music industry, the movies, so back then when my father and I came from abroad, my mother was in university. She was still
In Vietnam.
studying. No, in Russia.
Okay.
In Russia, when my father and I came to Cyprus, he didn't speak any Greek at all.
How old were you?
3 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. I was speaking Russian. He was speaking Vietnamese, not even English. And
So you lived in Russia?
yeah, up to the age of 3, because
Okay.
the time was in Moscow. Yeah, in Moscow, not in Belarus. So I was born there. My father finished his studies. Then he needed to decide where to head off. And they decided to come to Cyprus. But my mother still had a couple of years to finish her degree. And we came in Cyprus. I was raised by my grandmother. I went to, public school. I never felt racism, to be honest.
No.
And sometimes I try to I question it. Was it because of my character? Was it because of my? But I believe that it was a time where Cypriots were really away from racist stuff, away from all that social,
Isolation and
Was your father,
discrimination.
though, a guy that was easily adaptable?
yeah, very.
So maybe you might have picked up certain of his traits.
Yeah, my father, I would say that he's not a selfish guy. He's very, very, very giving person. He always thinks of others. He has that, Zen way of approaching things. You don't need to fight. You don't need to get mad with that. But I was really, when I was younger, I was really, I had my confidence level at a very low point, because we are boys. We want to be part of, a gang, and you try
You want to
to
belong.
Yeah, you want to belong, and in order for you to belong, you need to
Play
lower.
football.
Yeah, play football, do stuff you don't like in order to be part of.
To be accepted.
Yeah. That's when you kill your ego. That's when you become what society wants you to be, and it's quite logical. But through time, you realize that society and people should accept who you are and how you view the world.
Your own individualism.
Not the other way around.
Not the other way
you
around.
becoming part of what
But you need to have
society
role models to
expects you to
guide
be.
you, and it's not a process that
Finding
takes
yourself.
a day or a week to. I mean, I might be very selfish in some things even today, business, family, father and son relationship, but again, it's a never-ending process.
Yes. Yeah.
We said at the beginning that doesn't have an end point where you say, okay, my ego now it's at an equilibrium point of where you are, let's say, okay, you're not selfish.
As long as we're in these human bodies, we would always have the ego as part of
Ego's
ourselves. It's not.
It's a survival.
It's there to
feature.
protect you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but you need to really think, where and when am I gonna use it? Is it based? Am I gonna use it because of my values, because of my morals, because of my goal?
Yep.
Anything else? If, for example, a guy cuts me off on the street, I'm not gonna really get mad at him because he disobeyed certain traffic rules. I might get a little bit more upset if I have my kids in the car and I get scared, but I'm not gonna go into a tangent of, go out, put
You're not
my
gonna
hand
gain
out of
anything
the
anyway.
Exactly, it's just gonna
Waste
waste
of
my
energy.
energy. It's just gonna make me upset.
Does it
maybe
really
ruin
matter?
My day.
Are you gonna change what happened in
Nothing,
the past?
no.
Or change him. You can't.
Yeah.
He might be having a bad day. He might be, he might have not slept at night. His kid might be sick. There are a lot of things that we do not understand what people are going through. We're not empathizing enough.
And again, Stefano, it's a practical thing. You need to exercise controlling your ego. You need to exercise controlling your emotions. And a way to do it is to imagine stuff and try to act on those thoughts without even happening. For example, yesterday I told my team that we need to wire ourselves on failure. What are we gonna do? So that when failure comes, emotions are kept under control and you act with logical thinking. So controlling your ego, it's controlling your feelings, and training to control your feelings helps you balance your ego. And again, it's a process that never ends.
With regards to the emotional aspect there, I feel like, though, because a lot of the work that I do is not about controlling the emotions, but actually working with the emotions to understand.
Isn't it the same thing though?
It's bringing awareness to the emotion and not necessarily responding to it or responding as and when is needed, but being aware of it, not allowing the emotion to take control over you to the point that you are having, swearing at the person that's coming in the car.
It could be success, it could be failure.
It could be a hate comment.
I was going to ask you about that because on our podcast, and as I've seen with many of the episodes that you put out there, you get so much shit. How do you deal with it?
It's just data.
It's just data. That's how your perception of it.
They don't exist.
Okay.
They don't exist because the online world, it's a fake world. But it's a projection of how people think. I had a lot of comments and DMs saying things about me. And when people throw arrows at you, if you are like trained to, have a shield, they're not gonna penetrate you. If you're soft, they're gonna penetrate your body and they're gonna create a wound, an imaginary wound. But if you train yourself, not, giving context to the comment, there will be a time where it will be just like, okay, bring it on. I need more comments. The video needs to get more views. And sometimes I respond to them in order to make them comment even more. But
how do you respond?
In a very polite and gentle manner.
Okay. So it's from a place of love, essentially. It's not from a place of attacking.
From a place of neutrality, I would say.
Maybe understanding who you're dealing with, I presume.
It happens automatically. It's like a feature now. It's like a plug in me.
You became AI.
Yeah. There was a person a month ago, he wrote exactly. I'm gonna try to recall his words exactly. And I was laughing. And the guys back at the studio were like, let's comment back. And I was like, why? Why comment back? He needs attention. Why should I give him my attention? I mean,
I want to hear the comment.
He said, Gianno, your IQ is very low. You're stupid. You don't know how stupid you are. And I will advise you to do an IQ test and realize that you're stupid, and you will thank me later. And I don't know why someone might. I mean, there are people out there that are like so mean, and I was like laughing, and I was staring at the comment, and I was like, the practical thing. I was ready, and I was thinking, okay, why? Who is that guy? Maybe he's a 12-year-old. Maybe he's a 50-year-old man living alone without family and stuff. And because I don't believe that I'm stupid, it didn't hurt me.
But immediately you want to defend yourself, right?
It happens automatically.
Take a deep breath.
Milliseconds.
And you take a step back. You're like, so if I engage with this person,
sometimes
which
I
is
do.
Basically most of the comments. This is the thing. Whenever I see comments, I'm like, first, people, they don't understand who they're addressing that comment to. Being a mental health professional, you can see beyond the comment that someone is commenting. So you can respond in a way that is going to bring a self-reflection and kind of destroy them, or you could decide to accept it and just allow it to be and exist because it's another voice. It could be a reflection of themselves. The best response actually that I've seen, and Helene can correct me on that, it was when a man commented on a woman's body about cellulite. That, oh, what are you doing? You're disgusting, and blah, blah, blah. And she responded in a way, because when you read that and you are a woman, cellulite is absolutely normal for any woman. She responded back, kindness, brother, above all. So she responded with love despite the fact that that comment
It actually works.
it hurt her. But what she was doing, she was basically coming from a place of love, of showing women how to accept their body. Because if she's putting her body online,
Which is hard in
which is
itself.
hard, what
to even
she
put yourself
doesn't
out there.
love,
And usually you take the hater out of guard. I mean, they are
yeah.
ready to fight, but if you give them something else, you shock them. There are times where we respond. There was a guy that he wrote that, mostly men, to be honest. Anyways, he wrote that you need to learn how to speak Greek. You are uneducated. Get yourself a vocabulary. And I remember responding, having my name at the end of the comment, replying, I know, I'll try to become better. It's a thing that takes time. It's a process. Keep up with me and watch it happening. And he responded, whoa, I wasn't expecting that answer back. I really appreciate it. Lovely.
You just got yourself a fan there.
I took it on the chin. I mean, if you, listen, Floyd Mayweather says that if you want to give it a jab or a right hook, you need to be able to take it. That's the boxing rules. Stephanos knows. So you need to train yourself and set a strong chin to take punches, to take failures and certain situations that are not under your radar in order to be ready to handle them.
it's quite remarkable. I think I don't know what is the expression, blow your own horn.
I say
trumpet.
that. I don't. Yeah,
What is
blow
it?
your own trumpet. But
Yeah,
I don't know
blow
if
your
there's
own trumpet.
an expression
Okay.
like that.
So it is very difficult, and most people don't understand this, that expressing your opinion online, and basically expressing your opinion. I'm not talking about scientific facts over here. Like Stephanos is speaking, I don't know, about his personal life, about his opinion on a specific topic. You basically exposing to the outside world a piece of your mind. You're basically naked for anyone to say, oh, look, your penis is small. Oh, your boobs are saggy. This takes a lot of courage. And especially what we're doing, I want to believe that it comes from a place of love. We're not anymore in the point in our life where we seek external validation to feel fulfilled in our life. We're doing this because we want to see the world changing, not only for us, but also for our children.
I would say evolve.
Evolve. Thank you for correcting. So I want to ask you, in your life, what were the biggest challenges that you faced to find your own voice, to find your courage, to understand more things about yourself?
Good question.
That's a good one. I never...
Was there a specific point? Like maybe something.
You
Like
can
a-
speak freely, and we can cut it
like
later.
a
if you feel.
I'm scanning my memory folders now. To be honest,
AI, where are you?
If you say nothing, I'm gonna call you.
no, I'm trying to think of a tough situation. Maybe, I don't know. I was asked again 2 years ago on another podcast, tell me about a failure of yours, and I found it really, really difficult for me to say something. Maybe this is because we fail every day it's part of our,
Evolution.
training process, where failure, it's not a moment anymore, a milestone that makes us better, or changes the path of our, of our course on something.
It's a lesson.
Yeah. So again, if you, and I'm not trying to be smart here, but if you are consistently thinking that you have a lot of failures, like losing a client, your SD card from your Canada trip with Luis Patsalides gets lost somewhere, true story. Maybe you had a fight with your wife. Maybe
True story. No.
Yeah, again, true story. Maybe you I don't know. Maybe you stole money from your mother's wallet back when you were younger. Maybe a lot of maybes. But when you wired yourself of accepting those failures all the time, then you create a line where failure, it's not a thing in time where it changes you.
Let me rephrase the question.
Okay, go.
What were the lessons that you have learned from mishaps, from trial and error, from failing, or from the challenges that you faced in life? What are the lessons that you learned from certain challenges that you faced in the past? Or if you would like to share with us right now, what are the lessons that you're trying to learn from the challenges that you're facing right now in your current life?
Okay, so there are two things happening in my life now. It's family and business. I don't think of nothing else. No football, no movies, no nothing. I'm really obsessed with those two things. Maybe a lesson that I get every day is how to grow my relationship with my family members, as a father and as a husband, because on the business aspect of things, they're not really important. You have a lot of trial and errors happening every day, where you learn if you are gonna be charging a client more or less, or a video that you did and you uploaded and it sucked, and next time you're gonna make it better. This is a challenge that, to be honest, it's not really important. It's a business lesson that it keeps going on and on. But on the things that matter when it comes to family, maybe let's say a huge argument that I had with my wife made me realize that, okay, that fight and that the thing to have in mind, let me conclude, is that you need to work on the mistakes that you did. For example, the words you said to the person you love, or maybe you hit your son for the most stupidest reason. For me, I'm truly very honest now. These are the challenges that I face every day in my life and matter to become better. Be a better father, whatever that means, and be a better husband, whatever that means. And by, again, coming back to the ego thing, by lowering your ego levels, it makes the other part feel better, and that the other part gives back his love, his well-being back to you. So again, it's another way to feed yourself with the attributes that at first are being seeked by a behavior, an egoistic behavior. And I'm trying to think of a failure that it changed my life. I really can't remember.
I think your perception to it is what it is. I feel like you even said it. It's a lesson. You called it a business lesson. The way you've worded it is that
I don't have an example of, let's say, I slept with another woman and that created a...
You know we're going to use this for the real.
No,
so.
I don't care because I never did. But just for an example, I mean, many will resonate with that. I never slept with another woman, and my wife found out, and then our relationship went into, you know, I never had, like, I didn't get fired because I did something that changed. I think that I did, to be honest, it has to do with football. Did you know that I was part of the board of directors of Omonia?
No.
I was.
I thought you were with Apoel.
Yeah, no. For 6 months, I was chasing a seat to my team's board of directors because I thought I will change the world around the club and stuff. And when I actually managed to grab a seat, I realized that the idea you have on something that you're unaware of, and vs the reality of actually being there, makes you realize that we always set expectations, and we create a world where we think things are, and at the end of the day they're totally different. And that made me realize that I need to focus on the stuff that matter. I need to stop being passionate and aggressive with, let's say, football, because it doesn't really worth it. So that might be a challenge, because during my during the time where I was trying to become a member of the board of directors of Omonia Club, I was fighting. I was being aggressive. I was getting into, you know, beefs online with people. I was threatening people.
So you were the online bully?
No, it was back and forth. I mean, it was a beef.
Yeah.
But you know how football it is in Cyprus.
Yeah,
And I was a person where I was, people, it was the definition of Giannos. Omonia, aggressive, very close-minded, and you cannot have a chat with him for Omonia or for football or with Apoel.
What made you change? You sound like a different person.
When I managed to be part of the team.
So, and I'm gonna use the same expression and the same phrase that you've used on the podcast that we've done together on Netcast. Expectations, reality. Because when you have expectations about something that most of the times is a utopic world, they don't represent the ideals that we have formed about a person, about a company, about a job.
About negative thinking.
Yes, about negative
most
thinking.
Of the times you worry about stuff that 90% never gonna happen. I mean, it's...
we live in our heads.
Yeah.
We live in our
I mean,
heads.
Something as a tip to fellow business owners: never call your team member on Friday and ask him, I want to see you on Monday morning. Because you create
it's the worst thing.
A thing where the other person thinks of a negative outcome. And this is what we are saying. I mean, expectations and reality. And most of the time, that gap, it's usually negative because we are filled with negative assumptions. I think it's
we're
a survival.
We're inclined as humans. We're inclined.
And by that example is the approach you need to always have in situations is, it's okay. It's not something that gonna be disturbing, because most of the time that's the reality.
Gianno, thank you very much
Thanks a lot, guys.
for being here with us.
I hoped you had a good time with me as well.
Absolutely.
We did.
It was
Pleasure
it was
to
quite
have
challenging in having the podcast in English because we are, it's difficult to, think
shift
in
your
Greek,
mind around.
Shift your mind around.
You did great.
And looking forward for our next meetup. I don't know.
Very nurturing, the conversations that we had today, and a lot of things for our audience to think about for themselves. So for those of you that would like to reach out, do not hesitate to send us your comments and we will definitely respond.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. It's been an absolute pleasure filming it for you guys. If you like the work that we are putting out into the world, please make sure you like this video and you subscribe to our channel. It really helps the work that we do.
And if you would like to follow our journey on our IG accounts as well as learn more about our services, we provide everything for you in the description below. Thanks for watching.